Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity. And today it's a Panalisa, and let's make this. Right, so I have a bag. This is a bag die that comes with many layers, and I have cut it out and I have cut it. You get the choice of a flap or a handle, which I'm going to show you in a second. And you also get layering pieces, and you get a belt and a buckle. Also from the icon set, you can see I've got one floating around there. I'm going to use that little glove, and that little piece floating there is the cuff that goes onto there. So this is what we're using today, and everything is linked below. Right, so I've been and cut out, and what I actually did was I looked on Panalisa's website, and she's done the bag in different variations, but she didn't do Christmas, so I thought I'd do it as Christmas. So I've been away and I've cut it in red, and these are all the score lines, so I wanted to show you where those score lines are and just how simple this is. So I'm going to put that flat, and I'm going to run some tape along here. I've already put together my tiny little, can you see the embossing in that? I hope so. Let's see how much clarity I can get on my camera. Oh, obviously not a lot today, but it's got little stripy bits, and it's got a little zigzag bit on it, and I've used a little gold cuff. So that is the element from those Christmas icons. And then you get a frame section, so you get to cut out a piece of scalloped edge in whichever you want, which of course goes onto the front of your box like that, so that it's decorative. And then you also get this shape. Now you can, if you want to, cut a window straight through, and then of course you could fill your bag with candies and stuff that can be seen, but I've done mine in gold and white. Mine's going to layer up on there like that. And then you get a choice of having an envelope closure or a flap, which is that one, or you can cut two little handles and stick those on. So it's a little handle gift bag, or it's an envelope. I'm choosing the envelope flap. And then, as I said, you get a buckle, which I've cut in black cardstock, and I've done my buckle in gold cardstock, so that you can, you know, place your buckle wherever you want to, and then you can like tuck your spiky bit in if you can get it in there. Well, I'm going to do that. I'll do it on camera just to show you, but I want that down in there as if the buckle is closed, if you know what I mean. I can never figure out which way it goes, but you know, I'm going to do it like that. So I've got my little pokey bit that's gone inside of my buckle, and that is going to go on there. So it's kind of, you know, Santa colours. Well, that's what I'm thinking. And I'm thinking, does it go like that, or does it go like that? I think it goes like that, doesn't it? No? Yes? I think so. No, because the holes go towards the end, don't they? Oh, well, I'll figure it out in a minute. Right, I have got my bone folder on the desk, and I've only just folded this with my hands, so I'm going to try and be good and put some respectable crease line in it without scooting everything around the table. I'm going to do this one. Really easy to fold. Like I said, you know, I just did this with my hands previously. And fold this bit, but only to the point down there. Because if you look there, you can see you've got your little triangle bit, which will pucker up for you when you go to use it. So we're doing that like that. And then the next thing we need to do is we need to put some tape down that flap, which I've got here. And if your tape is too wide, don't worry about it, because you can just roll it back in on itself and trim off any excess. So I'm just hoping that you can see this here. So I've got my tape on. Might not be straight, but you know me. And then if you turn it over, I mean, obviously you've got to get rid of that bit there. So I've just removed that piece. Get the bit off that's stuck to my scissors. And I'm also going to remove that piece. Right. And then when I peel this back here, we've had some horrible humidity. There we go. See that bit that's overlapped? Don't worry about it. Just take your finger and roll it back in on itself. And then you'll be all nice and tidy again. Now if I just put that there, fold that flat, and give it a bend. And we're going to get it accurately here. You don't have to push it down until you're absolutely satisfied. I'm satisfied with that. So see how quick that was. I mean, you've quite literally got your little baggy box. So now we want our short flaps to go in, and we want our long flaps on the outside. So we need to fasten this one. So I'm going to run a piece of tape along there. Just grab my tape again. Now, my overhanging bit doesn't bother me. I'm going to go right to the end, and then I'm going to trim that piece off there so that I can see it. And then all my overhanging bits can come off. So I've got my arms at a weird angle, trying to keep everything in the camera. Then we're going to trim that bit off. Then we're going to tuck those in. Make sure that you've got it nice and square, so that you're not all, you know, all wonky. So I hope that you can see that. And that's how easy that was. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And then, as I said, once you've got that bit down, you can go inside your box if you don't feel, you know, comfortable with your adhesion, and just give it a little tap so that that sticky tape has made contact with everything. And then you can go down your bag and you can see where this will pleat, and you can fold it. Just take your time and do it a little bit at a time. Right, and that should stand up. So we've got our little panel here to go on the front, which is going to be super easy because I've got a little bit of tape, and I'm going to put foam tape down mine and then trim it off. And I'm going to put some down this side. We are going to put the flap on in a second. I should have done that before I did this, but you know, can't always get everything in the right order. And then I'm going to peel the back off of that, and I'm going to assemble my little panel. Now you can see that it's got an embossed edge, so really you kind of want to get it straight. And I'm holding it up towards myself, and I think that's it. So we've got our little white panel on top of our gold. Just going to stick that down. I'm going to pop that there. Just move that there for a second. And I want to put my little flap on. Now you can use wet glue if you want to. It goes on the inside. But I'm going to run some narrow tape. And I'm just searching in my pile here, because I've got a bunch of stuff, and I'm using a narrow tape, and I'm just going to go in there, pull that back on itself slightly and trim it. And if you can see, you've got a stitch line and you've also got an emboss line, which is what I'm running my fingernail on. So you want to crease it on your emboss line and not your stitch line. And that's also what you want to do with your boxy bag as well, because it can be really easy to kind of like get a little bit confused and start bending along that perforation, but it isn't. You've got your little emboss line just before it, and the same thing on this little envelope flap. So I've peeled the back off that. I can straighten it up again, and I'm going to go inside here. I'm going to get it square. Let's have a look. Straighten it up, because you don't have to push anything down until you're absolutely certain. There we go. Now I'll show you a close-up of that. See how you've got the gap there so that it folds easily. That hasn't stuck down, but as I said, just go in with your bone folder and just give it a poke and a rub until you feel that it's secure, and then that is going to come over the top here. So I'm looking at my little bag and I'm wondering, do I put my belt buckle onto that bit there and it come down, or do I actually stick it flat down here and have my envelope flap come down over the buckle? It's kind of like decisions, isn't it? Because you can do it whichever way you choose to do it. I think that I'm going to go in here with my bone folder to kind of like flatten this out just a little bit. And I'm thinking I wouldn't want to put any tension on the belt. So my belt, I think, is just going to go onto here. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it part of my topper. So I'm going to keep my little belt straight, flip that over. I hope that you can see that. And I'm getting my tape, which has got a jagged edge on it at the moment. So I've just trimmed that straight off camera and make sure that's straight. And I'm just going to go right down the middle with this. And that's also going to hold that little pokey bit from the belt in there. And then I'm going to trim that off. All right. So then that's going to allow me to either put a Velcro or a little magnet on there if I haven't got my belt attached. Because you wouldn't want your little belt coming unstuck, if you know what I mean. If you're using that as your strength point, it might come detached from here, or it might rip. Although, you know, if you cut 2 or 3 of them, it would certainly be sturdy enough to do that, I think. I'm just poking around. Right, so now I want to get this into the centre. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I want to see how much off the edge it hangs. And then I need to get it straight. If that isn't straight, I'm in trouble, but never mind. And it is a little bit skew-if, but I'm not going to worry about it. In fact, I'm going to stick my little mitten there, which will hide its skew-iffiness. There's a great word, which probably doesn't even exist. And I'm going to flip that over. I'm going to put some tape on there. I'm going to go there to there. So, you know, apart from the die cutting, and this is the first time I've ever done this, it's probably going to take you about 10 or 15 minutes to make one. And if you're making them en masse to put candy and stuff in, it's probably going to be quicker, because you know what it's like. The more you make one, the better it is. So let's peel that. Right, I'm going to lift that flap up, and I do want to get that kind of centered and straight. And I think that's about it. And that is the gift box. I mean, seriously, how cute and how quick. Isn't that nice? And that's the back of it. That's the bottom of it. So now that I've made it, we can actually measure it. And I was just thinking, if I'd have left the tape away from the white bit, I'm wondering if I could have, you know, just like tucked it down inside. I mean, I don't know how high up I put my tape. Oh, look. Yes, you certainly could do that. You could do it like that if you wanted to. So you could tuck that in if you leave the tape a little bit lower down so that you can tuck the whole flap in. Oh yeah, I like the idea of that. There you go, you see. Sometimes out of our errors, good things happen. So I really like that. Right, I'm going to move my mess and I'm going to measure. Right, let's hold it closed and see what we've got. We have, at completion, 4 1/8 of an inch, and then I'll measure the plain back. We are at 2 7/16, and then the depth of it is 1 3/8. And you can see you're going to get quite a few candies in there. Or if you're sending somebody a couple of bags of, you know, Christmas type sequins, little sprinkles for their shakers. But I really do like that if you leave that piece away from there, you can tuck that in. So really pleased with that. Love it. Right, stretching across my desk. And that is what I have for you today. And I am going to be up with more from Panalisa tomorrow. I thank you so much for watching. Have an absolutely awesome day. And as usual, all links below. Bye.